We've all read the book and we all loved the book, and it was just a great experience. Can you tell us a little bit about how it came to be, and briefly an overview about the book and what you were hoping for when you wrote it?
Sure. Red River is my second book, and I'll just say that Cane River was my first book that came out in 2001, and it covered the maternal side of my family. It was 4 generations of colored Creole slave women in Louisiana. Red River is not a sequel. It's really a parallel story, and it is my father's side of the family, and it's multiple generations of men. And the way that I chose to write this was around an incident that happened in 1873 that was called the Colfax Riot, which was misnamed in truth. It was a Colfax Massacre. And this incident that took place over 3 weeks, culminating in Easter Sunday in 1873, resulted in the massacre of about 150 men in the Colfax courthouse. And they had gathered there trying to protect the office holders that they had voted in the last election. And this was during Reconstruction, a very, really underreported time in our history in America. But it was 10 years after the Civil War, when black men could vote, when there was the promise of freedom and independence. And at the end of that time, we went into a very dark period. And part of that was initiated by this incident in 1873 that I write about in part 1 of the book. And this begins with my great-great-grandfathers. By the end of Red River, we're at the generation that really was my mother and my father, and their courtship. But I wrote part 1 really to very intensely go day by day for the Colfax Massacre. And part 2 was multiple generations after that, and how they lifted themselves up, started a school for, at the time they called them colored. They started the first colored school in Colfax, Louisiana, and began to make sure that they made things better for their children. So this is, Red River is a testament, but it's a fictionalized account of real events that actually happened starting in 1873 and ending in the later 1930s.